outlaw lease.
So,
Hey, you can't take that many pep pills at once.
no problem. I'll balance it out with a bottle of sleeping pills. Okay, we're all set. Let's put the pedal to the metal.
Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. It's weekly recap time. Thanks for tuning in to Cash is King Weekly Recap. I do a weekly recap for every week. That's just the way it is. A little behind right now, so these numbers are from a couple weeks ago, but I like to get to it and explain why I'm running, what I'm running, where I'm running, all that kind of stuff. I do this to help the new people that want to become owner-operators, or maybe, even have a carrier. You can work it either way. Do know I am leased onto a carrier at an 80-20 split, pull reefer. Don't talk about my carrier, and do weekly recaps, for every week, so there's no BS in it. The way I figured, I've been doing these for about 2 years now. If you want to go back and watch the last 2 years of them, go for it. They're all there. And I figure after 2 years of them, if I was BSing, I'd be pretty much on Front Street right now, because if you put a bunch of BS out there, people gonna figure it out, And a lot of people watch these to compare their numbers to mine. It's a good way to do it, to kind of see where you're at as far as, are you running the right areas? Are you running areas you like? That type of thing. But, let's get to it. Let's talk numbers. Weekly recap numbers. So, I started my week. I started this week in Minnesota. For you guys that don't know, I like to go from Minnesota out and back. I'm currently not doing that this week, and I'm regretting it because I just want to go home at this point. So, get a little soft with it, maybe. I don't know. Since I paid off my truck, I have been spending more time at home, but I went out and I came back, and the load that I was bringing back was not a completely back to Minnesota. Sometimes I have to split those back hauls, like, get halfway home and then unload and reload to keep the rate decent on coming back. This time it was just, didn't come all the way back to Minnesota. It put me in a really good spot in Iowa on a Friday. And instead of grabbing a little short load back to Minnesota, probably what I should have done, instead I took a load, back out from Iowa. Really good paying load on a Friday, but, kind of regretting that now. But anyway, let's talk about the week here, from a couple weeks ago. So it was Minnesota down to Texas, multi-stop load, 2 picks, 3 drops on this one. It was negative 10 degrees, 26,000 pounds. I was delivering right next door, so I had 10 miles of empty move, 1089 on the loaded, so basically 1,100 miles, 1099 on the miles. That load paid $6,700, so that's a winner. Then coming back up, I had, I forgot to write that down. That was Arkansas. I came from Texas. I headed all the way to Arkansas to get a load. And, like I said, normally I would just come back to Minnesota, but I guess they had booked this load in Arkansas, and another driver had an issue, and instead of dropping out on it, I went and picked it up. Now, it was a lot of deadhead, but I sacrifice a little bit because I look at it as a whole, as the carrier I'm leased to. When you're leased to a carrier, you win some, they win some. It's kind of a little bit of a, it's business, you don't win at everything. So I could have said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to deadhead 323 miles to Arkansas to get a load. But at the same time, you don't want to be canceling loads. Because I guess this is a load that the carrier does like every week. They kind of got this load on standby every week. So, you don't want to fall out on it, because that lets somebody else opens the door for another carrier to come in. So I said, okay, yeah, I'll go get that, because I guess I was the closest guy empty that could go get it. So I don't regret the load. It was a good load. I mean, when I say I sacrificed, I really didn't. I mean, I like to say I did, especially to the person that asked me to do it. I'd be like, "Whoo, big sacrifice," like I bring it up, but it's not really. But always work your angles in business. You know what I mean? So next time when the load ain't favorable, I can bring up. Hey, remember when I did that favor for you the other day? Just saying, work some angles like that. This load was Arkansas up to Iowa, 323 deadhead miles, 717 on the loaded miles. And I know why they have this load, because we do some Minnesota to Arkansas runs, and I'm not those aren't really in my wheelhouse. It's a kind of a shorter lane. But I guess, it's good to have this load on standby for when you do those Minnesota to Arkansas, because this is actually a really good paying load. It paid $2,900, and if you take the 717 loaded miles, that's pretty damn good. That's like $4 a mile, out of Arkansas to Iowa, which ain't a bad area, if you got a reefer trailer. So paid $2,900 to me, and on 1,040 total miles. So it was still really close to that's probably like $280 a mile, which I'm okay with, because the load going down from Minnesota was like $6 a mile. So if we can get $6 a mile, and then close to $3 a mile coming back, that's like a 450 average. I'll be honest with you, I thought this was a really good week. That was the week, by the way, and that was a 6-day week. 6-day week. So I got to pick up my Iowa load on the 7th day. So, I look at this as a really good week, because not only was it profitable, but it wasn't that hard of a week as far as the running. And yeah, it went pretty smooth. But I don't know why I said but, because I would do weeks like this all the time. I'll be honest with you. Because it took me down to Texas, but it brought me back to Iowa, which, if you got a reefer trailer, you can pull meat loads out of Iowa all day long for money. Big money, especially on a Friday. Getting unloaded on a Friday morning and getting reloaded on the same day, it helps the month out, because it's tight scheduled, but it's not really a lot of running. For another reason I say I really like this week is, let's break down the numbers. Let's break down the numbers to it. If you've made it this far, hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. So total gross on this week was $9,600 gross. 80-20 split carrier. My 80% is $7,680. All in miles, 2139 all in miles. Empty miles was 333, and 1806 on the loaded miles. That's 18% deadhead. That's a lot of deadhead. It is 18%. Here's the saving grace. All miles, every single mile this truck turned was worth $4.49 every mile. So that 18% deadhead ain't even a thing. Let's be honest. Because there was 333 miles that I got $4.49 a mile on empty. So, don't get too tied up in that. Oh, I only set my parameters on my load board at 100 miles. I say expand it out. Look at other cities. Typically, what I like to do is check cities along the way on the way back, because I run a lane from Minnesota down to Georgia a lot. There are times when I can get let's say $2,300 from Atlanta all the way back to Minnesota for $2,400, what they'd be wanting to pay. I can deadhead all the way up to Chicago and get $2,000 out of Chicago back to Minnesota. You know what I mean? Like, what's that couple $100 worth? I'm gonna haul heavy freight across the mountains for $300 or $400 more. I don't know. It's just strategy. You know, you got to look along the way. But anyway, my 80% was worth $3.59 a mile. That's fantastic, I think. And loaded miles was $5.32 a mile for loaded miles this week. I only bring up loaded miles, so you guys have been with me a while, you know, but the new people, I only bring up the loaded miles because to talk about what the market's doing, to show the market averages. Because to me, all miles is the way to factor your business, because I still have to put maintenance back for empty miles. I still have to put fuel in for empty miles. Empty miles count, you know, so I just put the loaded miles in there to show you what the market's doing. So let's break down these numbers and these variable costs. Now, I only go over my variable costs. I do not have a truck payment. My beautiful 2016 vintage Cascadia is paid off. So Miss Betty White's mine free and clear these days. So I don't talk about that. I do put a little bit of money back for truck, you know, still. And you need to put money back for insurance and things like that. But for me, I you know, I don't put that in there, because you can factor that in. You can figure that up pretty easy. You know, figure out what kind of truck you're going to get, figure out what kind of payments you're going to have, call around for your insurance quotes. You can figure that stuff up. This variable cost to me is the stuff that people not doing it already need to know about. I do have a pretty fuel efficient truck, so when we go over the diesel cost, remember two things. I have a fuel efficient Cascadia, and I buy my fuel on Mudflap. Now, if you don't know what Mudflap is, it's an app where you can buy your fuel through the app with a credit or debit or bank account. No fleet card needed. Check it out. Link in the description. Sign up with my promo code. Little commercial here. I do get $10 in free fuel if you sign up with my promo code. So, $21.39 on miles this week, all miles. So not a whole lot of running. Only spent $1,096 on diesel this week. $63 in reefer fuel. That second load, by the way, was a 55-degree protect from freeze. That's all that was. Honestly, I didn't even have to run the reefer until I got like almost to Iowa with it, because it was, when I loaded that in Arkansas, it was like 50 degrees outside. So I didn't even have to kick the reefer on until I got to like Iowa the night before. So that was pretty sweet. $54 in DEF fluids, $13 on a scale. I did scale that load on the way back because it was a heavy load, and I wasn't sure how the guy loaded it. You know, it was a mixed bag of products. It was beverage, but it was like, it was a little bit of everything in there. So I did that. I spent $16 on parking. Yes, I spent $16 on parking that week. And the funny thing is, I bought the parking spot in Iowa. It was pretty close to my delivery, probably within like 5 miles of my delivery. And I was like, okay, well, if I get there, I was going to be arriving at like 10 o'clock at night in that area. I had like an 8 a.m. delivery the next day. And I was like, well, I want to make sure I get a parking spot. So I bought a parking spot, but then I got sleepy on the way there, and about 30 miles before I made it to my parking spot, I pulled into a rest area that had tons of parking. So I said, forget that spot. You know, I wish these apps where you get these parking spots, like that parking spot was at a Pilot, maybe a Flying J, I don't remember. It was a Pilot Flying J location I had reserved a parking spot at. I wish they had a way where you could go in there and put like, hey, I'm not coming. Like, won't be there. Because I don't care if you resell the spot to another driver. I just hate the fact that I took up a parking spot with a reserving and I'm not going to park there. You know, I feel like if there's another driver in the area that needs that parking spot, sell it to him. Like, if he's willing to pay for it, sell it to him. I just wish they had a way where I could go in there and say, hey, I'm not coming. Or I could call them and say, hey, I'm not coming. If you want to sell that spot again, go for it. Because I tried that one time at the TA. I called them and told them, said, hey, I'm not coming. And they were like, "Yeah, it don't matter to us. It's in the system. You know, we can't change it." So I wish there was a way I could do that, because I feel like I'm robbing a parking spot from a driver, you know. But at the same time, like I need to reserve, you know, I need to make sure I got a parking spot, you know. But I don't want to be selfish because I'm not coming. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I spent $16 in parking. I spent $44 in tolls going down to Texas and running around the Dallas area. Had $44 in tolls. Total variable cost on that's $1,286 variable cost. You bring over my $76.80, my 80% of the gross. You subtract the $1,286, and that leaves me $6,394, $63.94 to do what I have to do with. And I think I can get it done with that kind of money on a 6-day work week. I'm pretty damn happy with that. Like I said, I consider this a really good week. I do. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like I said, if you made it this far, hit the thumbs up. If you're new here, thanks for being new here. Maybe think about subscribing. I do one of these for every week, so a lot to learn here. Come join me for a live show. Love doing the lives. Check out that description down below. A lot of things to click on down there. I got a second channel. Check that out. That's always a lot of fun. Until later, take care of each other. Bye.